Hello! Allow me to take this frog out of me throat and throw it at the fucking dog.
Hi, how are you? It feels like we haven't been on here. Kurt is joining us on Instagram this time.
Nice.
We're in the modern age. Yeah, it feels like we haven't done a show in like 2 weeks or something.
Well, it's been a while.
It's been 2 weeks.
Well, I was on my event break, and then
last week. Yeah,
I was so fucking wiped after that week. I felt like I needed a week to recover from my event week, and it just felt crazy. I was just glad you were feeling kind of old and run down, because then I took advantage of that.
Yeah, I've been pretty busy the past couple of weeks, but in a very good way, because it's more critical role work. But I just was not in the right headspace to do it. So anyway, thank you all for indulging us with a couple of weeks off of unscheduled PTO. And welcome back to episode 5 of season 3 of Lawfully Chaotic.
It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe.
I know.
It's crazy. February's almost over. 7 more days. February's done.
Yep.
That's just nuts. That's nuts.
Anyway, glad to be back. So before we start, Jason, do you have any announcements?
Monday night, our Candela Obscura game is going on over at TTRPG Academy on Twitch and the YouTubes. Tuesday night, the Shattered Kingdom. We're getting close to the wrap of our first season with that one, as that group, we meet live in studio on Tuesdays. And then our Sunday campaign that we've been playing for a little over 2 years online with the RPG Club. They are on session 80 something. I don't have the notes in front of me.
Nice.
But they are definitely tracking towards level 20. And we're having a lot of fun with that group. And that group meets at 4:00 PST every Sunday. So that's been fun as well.
Cool. Awesome.
I have started up some new tables, so go take a look at rpgclub.net and see what we got going on over there. That's what do you got going on, Brian?
I just, like I said, just been really busy work-wise. A big chunk of that is some critical role work, which is awesome.
Nice.
But it's it's so funny. I mean, it never frickin' fails. It's like when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
I've had so many slow weeks, and then 3 major clients come. New project. Hey, I finally got feedback after 2 months on this other project, and it's like literally on the same freaking day. So
right.
But not complaining, because it's work and it's good. So
that's kind of new for you. You're normally always complaining.
I know. Otherwise, wrapped up my Horde of the Dragon Queen, or Tyranny of Dragons, I should say. Campaign after like 3 years, I think we played. Wrapped that up a few weeks ago, and that group is looking to start another one also. So
nice.
So we're gonna jump right back into there. Kurt, how many sessions can we go without a long rest? Exactly. It's in my experience, it's half a session. What time of the day is it? It's only 11 in the morning. I think we should rest again.
That's interesting, because my Wednesday night group, they went almost 5 sessions without a long rest.
Was it 5 sessions of shopping?
No. It was 2 combat cycles, a bunch of like investigation and reveals. It was just crazy kind of like, just, it's one of those things where you're just not keeping track as much. Like the story just took over. And they weren't worried about the long rest, because the story was just taking them where they wanted to go, and it's just kind of the way it went.
That's awesome.
It was
I think I kind of have a problem, and we're guilty of it too sometimes, when it's like, you, like what I was saying, you just got off a long rest. It's like you had one encounter. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and everybody got beat up in the counter, so they're like, "Oh, we'll take another long rest." So. Anyway, So yeah, but that's about it. I've been painting a lot. I'm really getting back into mini painting. Oh right, because I finally got a. This is just going to be 45 minutes of announcements tonight. That's okay because my topic is pretty light, so I'm only going to need about 5 minutes instead of 15, and I want to talk about your stuff. But
light means
yes.
lame.
No. Well,
No,
yeah,
it won't be lame.
I don't know. You tell me. You guys tell me. But I finally.
Storytellers, go fuck yourself.
So I got my son a 3D printer filament, PLA.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got a bamboo, right?
Yeah. No. I got an Ender Pro.
Oh, a filament printer, but you also got a resin printer, didn't you?
So I just got the resin printer because the filament printer I could not get to frickin' work. With adhesion and stuff like that. After the test print, which came out perfectly, I never got another print to work.
Oh, that's crazy. Were you trying to print miniatures though? Like, were you
I'm
doing
sorry, I
miniatures?
did get one other print, and that was a mini. I'm not talking about the quality of the print. I'm talking about I couldn't even get anything to start.
Really?
And I tried a whole bunch of stuff, and to be honest, I've got enough hobbies, and I did not want to make 3D printing into another, like, I got to take an electrical engineering course.
Too late.
So I'm like, I'm fucking done with this thing. So, so the reason I didn't get the resin the first time around, because the main thing I want to do is print minis, and you need a resin printer to print minis. You can't fucking print minis on a PLA printer, okay?
Right.
So the reason I didn't get the first time around is because of, the fumes and all that stuff. And this time I'm like, the resins, they've got a lot more options for resin, I think. And you can get some bio ones that are not as toxic. Whatever, doesn't matter. I just decided, fuck the PLA printer. I'm going to get a resin printer and see if I can fail at this in an even more dangerous way. But you know what? I got a Photon Mono M5 S.
And
okay.
What was your retail on that?
$397 on Amazon.
Yeah, it's about average for mid tier.
And then I got the wash and cure station for $150. And you know what? Fucking, it took 30 seconds to set it up, and I've done 2 prints now.
How's the chemical smell?
It is there, but I've got a door behind me that I can open, and I had 2 air purifiers going, plus 2 air purifiers in the printer, the little tiny ones they sell you.
Right, that they send with you.
You can smell it, but
it's not overwhelming?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So I'm telling you, man, I've done 2 prints. One is, the standard Uten Iron Forge that I've been working on.
Dude, by the way, the paint job on that sword was insane when I saw it on your Instagram feed. That was just
that's all
insane.
That's from watching videos from El Miniaturista mostly.
I saw that.
And then I also printed this one. This is the second one.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, so that's in progress. But I'm telling you, it is literally, it's like an inkjet printer. Hit print and it goes. This thing, the one that I got, auto levels and everything, so I don't have to fuck with it at all. And, even the cleanup, like, I watched a bunch of videos, like, the best way to do this. I talked to Andy Warnken, Dragon Painter, who sent me a shit ton of STL files. I talked to him about it, and I had my setup and cleanup station plan done before I even, poured the first resin in.
Right.
And it's fucking awesome, man. So I'm tossing the other one. I'm going to see if somebody wants. If anyone wants to buy a very lightly used Ender 3 Pro,
and this one, so this one that I showed you earlier, that's a resin print that I bought from somebody.
Yeah.
And one of my players, painted it for me for my Friday night finale game. But you can't print minis like this on a filament printer. It doesn't. No. You can't do it. Filament printers. My Flash Forge does a pretty good job of printing terrain.
I was just going to say, to me, a film, and I am not a 3D printer expert by any sense of the word. So, but in my opinion, okay, cool. That's good to know, Kurt. Thank you.
So this is
for terrain, it's perfect.
That's off my filament printer. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
and it's perfect.
I can take the roofs off.
Yep.
So I can, do.
Yeah.
But I had a really good painter paint it, because having a really good painter paint it hides all the blemishes.
Totally.
Right.
But the blemishes,
filament's perfect for terrain.
it's perfect. You cannot do minis on it at all.
No, they're garbage. Every time I try, here's the rabbit hole that 3D printers offer you. It's going to be funny if this show ends up being about 3D printers, but
I already kind of feel like this is my topic and fuck my old topic. Because my other topic, I'll tell you guys right now, is just what's the latest D&D news. So blah, blah, blah. Who fucking cares? We're talking about printers now.
But the filament printer rabbit hole, and because what you do is like you're chasing dragons, is what you're doing. And it's fucking insane. So
Wait, I'm sorry. I was responding. So Kurt goes, sometimes they slow down, and you guys are like trippy Will Ferrell when he shoots himself in the neck in old school.
There's this feeling that the solution to your printer problem, your 3D printer problem, is a search away. So you're riding the dragon at that point. The needle marks are in your arm.
It's a search away, but that search only leads to a rabbit hole.
To the next.
And that's why after like the third rabbit hole with the filament one, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I just don't have the mental energy to deal with this shit. I want to print shit. I don't want to fuck with the printer.
But some things you can print pretty decently with a filament printer. BattleTech minis, because they're not nearly as detailed, right?
Yeah, well, and they're mechanical, so sometimes those lines and textures,
and blocking methods.
Yeah.
And always paint fixes everything. It eventually does. You're a good painter. The fact that you can print a mini on demand or print a piece of terrain on demand, and add it to your board, if you're a good painter, that was pretty cool.
That was the idea. That's why I got the printer for Oscar for his birthday.
And then you took it over.
That's how I snuck that one past Irene, past the wife. Hey, Oscar, you want a 3D printer for your birthday? Sure.
You're like, great, I got it.
No, that was my plan. It's like, great, I can, not one thing. So finally, like I said, I think it was more out of spite that I was on Amazon, because I'm always in my Amazon cart, and I saw lightning deal, Photon M5. Did a quick search. Yeah, this is a good one. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I didn't even do my normal 2 weeks of shopping fret, which, by the way, I am master level 30 at normally. Yeah. But again, I'm like, I just, what's a good one? What's easy to use? And I ordered it. I'm like, I'm gonna try it, and obviously because it's Amazon, if it doesn't work on the second print, because the test is the second print, not the first one.
Right.
After you clean it, right?
Yeah.
The second one was this one, and it was Andy gave me a couple tips for removing the supports. Can't really see it. For removing
how easy was it to remove the supports?
So on the first one, on this guy, it wasn't, because that was one thing that I didn't look into, was the best method for removing the supports. So I had to cut them off. There was a lot of little filing and sanding, but the cured resin sands really well. Like it just, you with the sandpaper, and it just turns to dust, and you just blow it away. Or breathe it in and add to your potential for lung cancer.
Exactly.
This one, so I was chatting with Dragon Painter 468. I was chatting with Andy, and he's like, yeah, so after you clean it with the alcohol, all right, and everything, and so far I've bought about 4 gallons of isopropyl alcohol. I think that's going to be a bigger spend than resin. So he's like, after you clean it, but before you cure it, stick it in hot water, like the hottest water you can get from the sink, but not boiling. Put it in there for like 4 minutes, take it out, and the shit practically just falls apart in your hand.
Because it's already super thin and weak, and you pretty much, those weak points come off.
Even with this guy, it was not easy. It was not hard at all removing it. Hey, Barry joined us on Instagram. Awesome.
But it was just cumbersome.
It was just, well, no, you end up having to fix all those little pinpoints, around the model. With Andy's
Right.
method, there were like even that it was 5 minutes worth of work. So I am really happy with this printer. Again, it's the Photon Mono M5S. Oh, and it's also the S is for speed. With high speed resin.
Right.
So the first print I did, I didn't know that, and it's interesting because the time is based not on the complexity of the model or even how much the build plate is being filled. It's just each layer. So how many layers are there? It's like, this one was like 1900 layers, and that's how it figures the time.
Well, I mean, the only reason I haven't delved into a resin printer yet is because I have entirely too many miniatures as it is now.
Yeah.
I've been fixated on trying to finish off my library of terrain first and have a steady, like, I want to have a town setting, a city setting, a village setting, a forest setting, a swamp setting. Like, I want to have these like preset things ready to go, which I'm about halfway there.
Nice.
The other thing is I don't want my studio to smell like a gas station. So, that's concerning for me, which means I got to build a separate area.
If you have it, yeah. I mean, I've got mine right in my office here, but I haven't used it very often. It's not going to be a thing for me where it's constantly running and I'm churning stuff out.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that, then you kind of need
that space.
Yeah, because it's just gonna eventually it'll get to you. I can deal with it for a couple of hours.
So my idea was back on the ranch to build a little workshop at some point, and run power out to it, ventilate it, and just make it my space. It's this little space where I could do all my prints and everything. Is my hope.
That would work perfectly, and then you could have them running. And just churning stuff out. But this one is quick. So I forgot to set it to high-speed resin. Yeah. And I didn't even touch parameters at all. I mean, it was like auto everything.
It was like the default setting, right?
Yeah. So I used HD resin, but I didn't tell the printer that it was, high-speed resin, but I didn't tell the printer that. So it still printed perfectly. It's still printed.
You gotta do that.
It's still it doesn't work when I want it to, and
exactly.
So it's still printed perfectly, but it took about 5 hours. The second one, which was right about the same number of layers, I told it there's high-speed resin in there. It took under 2 hours, so it is substantially quicker.
Interesting.
Also. So I gotta say I am really happy with it. It's pretty awesome, and if it remains to be as easy as it is, then go buy one.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like it's worth it.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's my announcement.
My news 20 minutes ago.
My news was I can get through this shit. It's just basic, just some of the stuff D&D, came in with. So you just dropped it on me. That one I missed. That one D&D.
Yeah, it was very recent. So
end of 2025.
Yeah, because the precursor to your discussion about D&D 1 and D&D in general, is that Hasbro is making another round of budget cuts and layoffs.
Okay.
They are $1 billion in the hole, and they did not recover well when they sold off E1. Once again, they make poor decisions.
However,
in their other IPs, but
on that note, finish your thought.
WotC is still making money. In fact, WotC is their flagship. It's the only thing making money for them.
So the whole we're selling D&D rumor.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you look at the WotC numbers, what's making money is MTG, Magic the Gathering. If you look at D&D, WotC made $1 billion. But when you start looking at their portfolio and breaking down the IP against their product line, D&D does okay.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying it has come out that rumor of them selling, especially to Tencent or anybody,
Right.
is false. Now they
Right.
made a statement. I'm just, this is their statement that says we are not looking to sell our D&D IP. So if they do, they're fucking liars.
Well, we know they're more than capable of lying.
Of course,
they're
yeah.
a corporation. They don't have a soul, so
Right.
it's not
Supposedly, it does make sense, and I totally believe that it is not happening because the biggest announcement right now for D&D, Legos.
Oh, they finally get a Lego. Look at that.
They finally get. So I think this is the set that won for what they are producing, but there were a whole other. It was one of those ideas, those Lego ideas, where they send out, or people make submissions on like what the next set should be. So they've got the old box though. I mean, there were some cool ideas. There was a mimic that like transforms, the teeth transform. So anyway, I love Legos, and if you don't, there's something wrong with you. So I thought it was.
I thought you were going to say something exciting, like they were finally going to take their 5-year encounter system out of alpha and put it in
No, the encounter thing is actually beta because.
Yeah, it looks like alpha.
Maps is alpha, and yes, they do have maps. Actually,
because VTTs have been around for 10 years.
Dude, we talked about. I'm saying this in a mocking fashion to them because yes, and right now it is very much alpha because all you can do
my 3-dimensional brain cannot do 2-dimensional VTT. It just I can't do it.
So it does do it. You can link it to one of your campaigns, so all of the tokens are there for all of your players, but that's really about all you can do right now.
Yeah, I mean, isn't this what everybody's been doing for the past like 10, 15 15 now?
Yes, it is. Didn't we talk about this 2 years ago and said they should be doing this?
Right. Yep. It's so painful.
Yep. So maps is
their digital 3-dimensional VTT's been pushed to the side. Their release of 1D&D has been pushed. Dragonlance was canceled for the TV series.
So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. So also, and this came as a surprise to me last week, that they're redoing the core rule books or re-releasing the core rule books to accommodate all of the unearthed or the arcana and all the 1D&D stuff, or some of the 1D&D stuff. So I don't know, is this the release of 1D&D, or is this an in the meantime?
I couldn't tell you. That's how confusing they are. It's like,
okay, and that is really the reason. It's not like, oh, what's the latest news? More so is it kind of feels to me like they are throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
D&D pop. Don't forget the D&D Pop Tarts.
Exactly right. Yeah, Spaceballs, the toilet paper. I mean, that's kind of what I feel like it is.
They're making it up as they go along. You're absolutely right.
And then we got Legos, which is awesome. And then we got plush toys and blah blah blah. And blah. Yeah, I mean they are, Gary. They are making it up as they go completely. Yep. It's like
they really are.
And I know that we've been saying they should do all this stuff, but it's like you're doing it in such a haphazard manner, and you're still not doing the one thing you should do, which is come up with a fucking community dashboard for players and characters that ties all this shit together. Which is something that Adam and I talked about 3 years ago. It was
the fact that they've only been focused on book releases this year that kind of allow them to float into 2025.
And something interesting? As much of a book goblin as I was buying both versions of all the books last year, the alternate cover, I have not bought one of the new books since the last one I got. I don't even know, but it was at least 6 releases ago.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, nowadays you could take a core system. You could take their free SRD and just download that and take it apart in OneNote or whatever notebook you use.
Yeah.
And you could play for years.
Yeah.
You play for years.
Yeah.
This bullshit, this like tragic story of corporate mishandling and fucking greed, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Like, what? It's like, whatever. Moving
I know.
on.
So that's kind of, like I said, it wasn't so much, hey, here's the latest news. It's like, hey, here's the latest news, and what the fuck, you know? So anyway, that's what I got for this week. So
That's
what's on your mind?
I was
Jason?
enjoying watching the AAA gaming community implode on itself. Because
elaborate.
well, that community does influence
Okay, now
other games, right?
now define AAA gaming.
You know, Larian, you know, like big studios, like really big studios.
Okay.
So because I like to watch their politics play out, I love to watch how they all talk to each other. Yes.
Are you? I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to clarify. When you say gaming, are you talking about?
You always say that. I don't want to interrupt, but you interrupt.
Hey, no offense, ugly, but with all due respect, dipshit.
With all due respect, you fucking asshole.
No, when you say gaming, you mentioned Larian. So are we talking about video games, or are we talking?
We're talking about video games.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
I think it's important.
Okay.
To discuss video games and how their kind of toxic existence bleeds over into our, you know, gaming community, because they, you know, this battle's been going on for a long time, ever since EverQuest was released. This idea of playing a D&D like video game versus playing a D&D game at the table has been going on now for over 20 years. You know, it's been there. Mm-hmm. It's ebbed and flowed and come in many different directions. So have you seen Helldivers 2?
I have not.
It is fucking hysterical. It's the funniest shit in the world. It's amazing first-person co-op shooter. They completely steal everything related to Starship Troopers, and they don't care. They don't fucking care. I love it. Everybody said it was going to be terrible. It is like the fastest growing gaming community ever right now.
Really?
It's insane how the naysayers and those that watch these things got it wrong. Now, to compare the opposite end of the pendulum, the community of reviewers were saying that the best pirate game in the world was coming out, which was Skull and Bones. It is by far the most dry, uninteresting, boring, uncreative game I think I've ever seen come out. And here's the crazy shit, Brian. They fucking worked on this thing for over 10 years.
Oh, shit, that's right.
Years.
I remember this.
For 10 years. And this is where I begin to compare the garbage company like UBI Soft.
Yeah.
And how garbage companies just produce garbage shit. Like if you look at Larian, you look at the house that I can't think of the name of who did Helldivers 2, but you look at the insane amount of time and money that they put into Skull and Bones compared to the time and money they put into Helldivers 2.
Arrowhead
you couldn't have a more different outcome.
Arrowhead Games is to help.
Arrowhead Games. It's insane. It's interesting to watch these things play out because you want to think that they're unique to the genre or hobby that you're into until you begin to realize, nope, not really. Corporation is just a shitty corporation one way or the other. Yeah. And these sleepers that roll out become hits.
So far, I see Warhammer 40,000. I see Halo. I see Fortnite.
And they do it all better. They do it all better.
That's awesome.
Did you see the 40K PC drop of the new trailer, or the 15 minutes of actual play of the new 40K game?
Yeah, like Yeah, and it looked like
I tried to see it, but I fell asleep in like a minute. It was the most boring real-time play I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was.
It was so boring.
Graphics were fucking unbelievable. I thought when I first turned it on, I thought it was an actual
but who gives a
40K
fuck
movie.
anymore about graphics? I mean, Roadblocks and Minecraft have already proven.
Oh yeah,
that
I
if
know.
you don't have a content, if you don't have a theme that invites people to fall in love with it,
Yeah.
who fucking cares?
Yeah.
You know. And I was watching the Rad Brad do the walkthrough of Skull and Bones, and you could tell. I mean, this guy's got 12 million subscribers. He averages 500,000 views. You could tell even he was struggling to find a reason to do the review of Skull and Bones. And he's like, this game would be great if it had a fucking story.
Well, reviews are not only supposed to be good. By nature, a review can be good or bad. So, I would hope
but that's not really the point. I mean, the point I'm trying to point out here, oh boy, that redundancy fucking sucks.
The point I'm trying to point out.
The statement is, as I'm watching these AAA game studios duke it out over obvious like bullshit, same corporate level bullshit.
Yeah.
Watching the TTRPG industry struggle with the same inane corporate bullshit.
Yeah.
The problem is equal to both sides of the hobby pendulum. It's like the only way you're ever going to get anything that you want are these grassroots efforts at games and not these corporate efforts. All corporate efforts are going to fail. Larian broke the rules slightly in the sense of, Larian Studios, they let everybody in early. They took the long development, but they did the one thing no one else does. They listened to the community. They listened to what they wanted. They listened to how they were, interpreting what they're play testing and what they were doing with the beta access. And they actually listened to them and said, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And what they began to realize is that some people that play D&D like the adult idea of playing D&D, or the comedy of it, or the arch villainy of it. There's a sense to it that corporations for the past 2 decades have been getting away with the fact you don't actually have to listen to the customers. They're kind of stupid. They don't really what they know. The professional people that we pay 6 figures, they're the ones that know what to do, not the customers. And I think with Larian's success, Helldivers 2, the failure of Skull and Bones to deliver content that's enjoyable. Really all Skull and Bones is a PvP like battleship game. It's really all it is. But they're just pirate ship skins. It's just like,
okay.
I was so hopeful, because if you want to play a real pirate game, you got to play Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yeah.
That is the best pirate game that's been ever fucking released, because you actually get to board a ship, fight the captains, and like experience a pirate's life in the sense of its grotesque Hollywood representation. But as long as you walk in there with your eyes wide open, realizing that you're getting your entertainment, you get it. But 11 years, 11 years for Skull and Bones, and that's the best they could do. I mean, it's just.
Well, I mean, you are to your
Crazy.
point. You are talking about Ubisoft, one of the largest video game, producers.
Call of Duty. Now that's a shitty game.
No shit. I quit playing that because it was turning me into a fucking maniac.
Why are the drones
10-year-olds
killing me? Like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I almost had a seizure.
Fucking headshots.
I almost had a seizure from Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The whole drone thing was so overwhelming. I was like, okay, PTSD. I'm out of here. I can't.
Colin says, what about Sea of Thieves? That's supposed to be pretty good.
Sea of Thieves is great if you want to play cartoon pirates.
Oh, okay.
Like Sea of Thieves to me is comparable to Minecraft. It has a very specific genre and a very kind of specific look.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit silly, but the silly can be fun if you're with the right group of people to play it. The animation is very much like that old school cartoon-esque animation.
Yep.
Like what you see there is what it looks like.
Okay.
Right? So it's you know what I compare it to? Age of Empire, like the second generation of Age of Empire.
Yep.
The second generation of War of Warcraft.
I was just gonna say early,
it became, you know what I mean? Like that artistic style.
Yeah.
But they don't try to violate that, and they keep it within the genre that they've developed. So the content's interesting, the co-op and the PvP is interesting, but it's not a pirate game. It's like in the traditional sense of a historical pirate game.
Mm-hmm.
They sold us a bill of goods with Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones was supposed to be the quintessential pirate game. You know, they built it, they promoted it, they said it was going to be all those things that you wanted it to be about. You know, so Sea of Thieves is cute and entertaining and fun. Okay. Right? Assassin's Creed Black Flag is fucking brutal. It's a real pirate game. Skull and Bones is neither of those. It's just this vapid, empty space of no content other than like a notorious system that they built. But once you tap it out, there's nothing else to do. And all you do is play PvP all the time. There's no other open world to it. There's nothing to do after your first 40 hours of play. It's just, you're done.
Well,
but they want you to spend $90 on it.
I don't know. Maybe everybody was working on Assassin's Creed and their B team hit up Black Flag
for 11 years.
It was the D team.
It's like, fuck. It's like they get it so wrong, and I don't know. Who did Star Citizen? Who did Star Citizen? Do you remember?
I don't.
Is that UBI Soft? Is that UBI as well? Or no, or is that EA? Maybe that's Electronic Arts. I forget who did Star Citizen. That poor guy. That poor guy sat in that audience waiting for an award for his Star Citizen game, and fucking Larry
Robert Space Industries. Wait, what?
No, I think you're no way. Is that right?
Yeah. Cloud Imperium. Oh, it's Cloud. Is it Cloud Imperium? Maybe Robert Space Industries was their like production company.
Hold on. No, that's a sponsored. God damn it. Hold on. No, that is something else. Where is it? Where? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong. No, that's it. But I thought that a big house developed that. I don't even.
I guess not.
I know it's a Windows game.
Oh, Colin, you know RSI?
Huh. I thought it was one of the big players. I don't know who this developer is. I don't know who RSI is.
Yeah, that's how it's done because it isn't. Interesting. I mean,
because I swear to God, it was like, what's the other one? Not Skyrim, Elder Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing funnier than playing Elder Scrolls because everything's like paper doll. Like Skyrim has the paper doll body problem as well, but some of the grotesque problems with Star Citizen was just so blatant. You know, just like, how do you work on things for 8, 9, 10, 11 years and just feel comfortable releasing such garbage? It's baffling to me.
You mean not Star Citizen? You said you mean the pirate one?
Yeah, Pirate, Star Citizen.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Skull and Bones, Star Citizen.
I don't know.
They all fall into, like, don't get me wrong, GTA 5, Starfield. That's the one I'm thinking of, not Star Citizen. I think it's Starfield.
Oh, Bethesda.
Bethesda. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you for clearing that for me. Starfield. The guy who runs Bethesda, that poor guy was down in the crowd waiting for somebody to give him an award for Starfield. That guy didn't win shit. He watched Larian take everything home. And I was just like, that's what you fucking get for not listening to your community.
It's like the Oscars. It's a fucking, and both of them are like high school prom, it's a fucking popularity.
Yeah, it's totally a popularity contest. And it was just, I was having fun because I've been lost in the nuance of the TTRPG community for so long and everything that's playing out. And don't get me wrong, I'm still looking at MCDM. I've got Daggerheart on deck. Hopefully they'll be rolling that out to me pretty soon. I will say the one thing about D&D my ending to this is that they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. Yeah. So exactly. That's a good point. They worked on Starfield that long, and then it takes away from the Elder Scrolls 6 development. And I was just like, you have such a better community in Elder Scrolls. Why they did
that's my point with Ubisoft. Maybe all the Assassin's Creed titles took away from Skull and Bones, but then you figure if it's that long of a project. Well, you know what happens, though? Sometimes a project that long just becomes reality in spite of itself. It's like, oh my God, we've been on this for 5 years. We just got to fucking finish it, but we don't have the bandwidth or the resources or whatever, yada, yada, yada. And then this is what you end up with. So,
I don't know. Bit of a rant, but it was fun being in a different world for a while to see the same toxic bullshit corporate behavior, and then to see the little guys winning or the little companies winning out of the blue. Yeah. Because the original Helldivers was a top-down RPG game.
Okay.
So Helldivers 2 was a complete, branch off of that for them. They went completely different direction because once again, like that fucking game lore that we love so much, Shadowrun. Yeah. If you've got a good lore and a good content core of lore, you can really build anything off that you want as long as you fucking listen to your community and listen to what they want. And so what I've been doing as I've been replacing my tables that close up, when the tables decide that they would like to play another campaign, I ask them to consider picking the theme as well as the content and as well as what they would like to see in the campaign. Oh, cool. So rather than just step blind into it, they get to have the initial feedback cycle, give me all their ideas of theme and structure and what they would like to see in an overall game. And then that challenges me to pull it into a campaign.
Nice. I like that. That's a good approach.
Where I was just writing stuff and trying to get square pegs to fit into square.
Well, it's funny because, my initial reaction to that is the more interested in the story or the theme or the campaign that I'm running, the better it'll be because I'll be that much invested and I'll be able to do a better job storytelling. However, if you really think about it, it's if the players are engaged and that amped up about it because they chose what they want to be doing, they're going to make your job that much easier. Right. You know what I mean? And it is almost like, so which is more important? Are obviously both important, but that's a good approach. I like that actually, is letting the table not only pick, not only pick the campaign per se, but the theme and the system too. Yeah. I like that. So.
Well, shit, we did it again, Brian.
Yeah, it occurs to me that rightly so. But I think our old manness is starting to show because a lot of shows lately have been ranting about the corporate end of thing.
Yeah, but at least we're ranting about different subject matter.
I know. Yeah. And I don't have a problem with that, but I think we should give everybody a break for a little bit. And I'm going to come next week with something like meaty to talk about. Cool. I mean, it could be dice. It could be, something inane or fun.
I will come back with something about the creative space, I think.
Cool.
Because I've been reading a lot of different things going on in the creative space.
All right. Perfect.
Some of the influencers and some of that activity. And I think I'm going to bring some of that into the next one.
Lawfully Chaotic.
All right, everybody.
Jim, that'll be like my Tuesday afternoon show. It'll be 5 minutes of just yelling at things.
Yelling and rants.
Yeah.
Where
so
can we
anyway,
find you, Brian?
Thank you everybody for joining us. Also, for some of our regulars, Barry, it was cool seeing you pop up there. Colin, thank you for joining us. Kurt, as always, and Jim, thank you for joining also. That's awesome. But if there's any stuff you guys want to hear us talk about, just let us know somewhere. And that somewhere would be, I love hearing you guys rant. Well, good. Then I guess we are doing something right. You can always find me at Instagram, RPG and Co. Shoot me a DM there. Also, Linktree at the same. And visit the website, playrpgandco.com, and check out the stuff, the merch. There's some stuff that is my artwork, apparel, and whatnot. And there's a lot of cool content. A lot of it is Jason's. So if you're looking for campaign settings and stuff like that, there's a bunch of stuff that he's written that's up there. And then I've got some magic items. So anyway, check it out. Jason, how about you?
You can find me over at the Linktree TTRPG Academy. If you want to listen to our previous 2.5 seasons of ranting, head on over to Podcasters Spotify TTRPG Academy. We've got all of our past episodes there to be listened to, and there's a lot of funny moments for sure. A lot of funny moments. So
cool.
Other than that, TPK.
Tell a story.
Play a game.
And be kind.
Be kind.
Thank you guys for joining.
Good night, everybody.